Let's have fun with it.
Uh-oh, stepped up on the scene, canceling them doctrines and them idols you esteem. Yeah, you might think it's a little extreme, but I'm all about my people, yeah, they need that vaccine. Oh, no actors, but we got that action. See them purple garments on with that gold accent. Yeah, you say you got the name, but your fringe is absent. Y'all going backwards like subtraction. So keep it in step. Sabbath day approaching, so you know it's time to prep. Sound the alarm, cause my people overslept. Yeah, you hear them trumpets blowing, sounding like a quartet. Oh. Yeah, this that purple rain. So the Bible you can't sleep on. When Christ return, yeah, the Lord gonna turn that heat on, and all that nonsense gonna be gone. Oh.
Let's go. Let me show you what I got the inspiration from. Give me the text, please.
You gonna go into the Bible?
I'm gonna go into the Bible.
You mean these niggas ain't read the Bible?
They've never read the Bible.
They watch Prince videos, but they ain't read the Bible.
There you go.
That's befitting of the Negro.
Okay, my turn. Purple rain on me. Exponential growth, that's why you hating on me. This is IUIC, acting like you don't see. Boy, we know you frontin'. Please. See us on the corners, unlike you, we be like read. Coming out the scriptures, yeah, you know just how we teach. Teach class online 7 days of the week. Being earned everything that you wish you could be. You see it? Shabbat, whole campus surfing. Y'all ain't the original school, you just a refurbished version. Ursum, open your mouth but won't speak with no verses. We got Bibles while y'all yapping, man, y'all captain is worthless. Ursum, I know, but the truth is the truth. Run your damn mouth and got Deke in the booth. Having fun with your slander, cause our fruit is our proof. Yeah, we worldwide with it, never mention you fools. Move. That's right, working men coming through. We got jobs, we ain't living off our women Hebrew. That's a nigga, my dude. But you say you a Jew? Hell out of here with that debating, you negating the truth now. Ain't nobody playing leather headband, man. Yeah, we heard what you said, but it came back, man. We the prophets of the Lord. Better understand, put that foolishness aside and humble down, clown.
Simon is so great. Nobody else is allowed to wear that color. It was only him, so it was always a dignified royal color. So they were mocking Christ in a garment. Purple garment on it and mocked him.
We the rulers, purple rain, excuse me, don't mean to boast. Who the Israelites and all you gonna see is purple and go from coast to coast, we in your street. Filled with the Holy Ghost. All this purple up in this junk gon' make you have an overdose. We the leaders of the people, so ride 44 and 4. Don't know no other Israelites that go harder than we go. Just left a quest for 12. Try to prophesy to island folk. Next trip West Africa, we waking up the Ivory Coast, repent or die. If you don't, it's suicide. Go bang, purple raining in your hood like them hustler working thing. We Israel United Christ, that's right, don't curse the name. We gon' gather 1/3 and watch the world birth and play. Nothing changed since we came with the true word of Yah. Now you heard your church of pride. Yeah, it's true, you want some style. Why they hating on us? The prophets back, it ain't a game. Double under two, I did some deep. Hate can't stand the rain.
So when I read these scriptures, brothers and sisters, I saw meaning in purple. I saw meaning in that color. So as a people, we've been stripped of our royal heritage. The wicked mocked our king, our leader, our commander with purple. Well, as servants, we gonna mark this kingdom and raise up the 12 tribes of Israel doing it.
Can you stand up? Like with the tribes. This is not just made up. All this stuff comes out of the scriptures. And when you got a leader that cannot explain his doctrine, that's a fool. Exactly. Everything that we are about, we can explain it.
Yep.
Out of the scriptures.
Purple rain, fly in the plane. Purple garment so clean, you don't see a stain. All that hating bring us fame, so we do our thing. Purple rain, we giving you haters chest pain. It's a shame how these brothers got hate on the brain. They got the spirit of Cain, so we in our own lane. Nobody saying we'll jump in front of a freight train, but they killed the prophets and these brothers will do the same thing. Dang, I ain't about to play with kids all up in our Kool-Aid, but they don't know what the flavor is. Tell them what the flavor is, great. Let it hating this, I wish I could see their faces when they looking mad playing this, man. Hard in the paint, I might slam. We supposed to be bros, we supposed to be fam, but you on the internet talking greasy like spam. Keep talking smart and we gon' clown you like Pam. Man, don't mess with the prophets that's out here wearing purple. We in the same mind, you ain't messing with my circle. A bunch of lions with Bibles, we'll let these scriptures hurt you. We jumping hurdles, we got the whole world on our shoulders. Sit back and let that purple rain. Don't kick against the bricks, don't try to come against the grain. Ain't nothing I can say to them. I'm about to go and pray for him.
We them dudes all purple, all gold. Unbelievers complain, y'all hurtful, y'all cold. I'm looking at your journal, then I'm looking at your members. Every year, same people, y'all circle look old. Y'all turtles move slow, we ain't with the feelings. Yeah, you ain't growing, you hit your spiritual ceiling. Y'all be hiding sins, not us, we revealing. Yeah, our nation's sick, and our people need a healing. But y'all ain't got the medicine, actions don't show. Y'all late, call them Letterman. Get it? Late show, David Letterman. Yeah, I'm at the gates, I see David, they like, let him in. All this purple everywhere, yeah, we stay ahead of him. Hating on the bishops, man, you fools stay sweating him. Why y'all steady hating? You supposed to be our brethren. Galatians 5:9, get rid of all that leavening. I bet you like it here, you look comfortable. When them chariots come, I'm trying to be punctual. Yeah, you lacking wisdom, so your breakdown dysfunctional. Y'all be playing kid games, go and grab a Lunchable. Haha, shame on you, we can't grow, so I'ma put the blame on you. You sound stupid, so now this purple rain's on you. Better repent, or he gon' put them flames on you. Burn up.
Because we what? Just love. That's what these brothers don't have. They don't have the love for the brethren. For you to go on YouTube and speak evil of any man, you understand? That's hatred. And without proof, without talking to that man without proof, that's hatred.
We them Bible-beating prophets in that purple and gold. In them scriptures we on fire, y'all just mad cause y'all cold. Shut up. Every time we make a move, y'all complaining. Y'all shooting shots about the purple, now that purple is raining. Get them. It was written, y'all ain't spitting nothing new. They was hating on Messiah, now they hating on us too. They be waiting on us too, trying to see what we gon' do. We got 100,000 views, y'all just mad cause y'all got 2. Do the work, jerk, busybody. Over here we united and y'all ain't hurting anybody. I don't even know why y'all keep trying on. Know why y'all keep coming, tell your wife to wash your garment. Y'all be teaching, looking bumming. We the Israelites, brother, we got work to do. How you find the time to hate another brother's work he do? That's what some old jerk would do. We don't play them hating games. Y'all just over mad cause y'all keep seeing all this purple rain. IUIC is growing, every year getting bigger. Won't let our sisters be hoes, won't let our brothers be niggas. We not the type of camp to sit around and talk about others. Y'all can hate your life away, but we got love for our brothers. Y'all brothers talking about colors. Are you serious, cuz? We the flipping sons of God, not the Crips and the Bloods. Y'all must be sipping the suds. I think y'all feeling the buzz. I could've swore I heard them hating, but that ain't what it was. It couldn't be. Maybe they just trying to get some fame. Maybe they just hoping we might justify their name. They call us purple rain cause we'll be raining over nations. Revelations 13:10. Brothers, please have patience.
So when I read scripture, I try to get into it. I try to witness what I'm reading. So I'm witnessing the Son of God come out with a crown of thorns on his head, a purple robe on, and they're mocking him. And I said, you know what? I said, the Spirit said, get a purple garment. The same purple that they mocked our king, and we're going to put on and mock our enemies and tear down his kingdom in the Spirit of God. Can I get a witness? So I don't want to hear no foolishness about Prince in the purple rain.
Christ. I see Christ in you. You my brother. Yeah, I see Christ in you.
I esteem all my bros to be better than me. Truth be told, truth be told, this is what we must do to avoid envy. Truth be told, truth be told, and blacks and Hispanics are family. Truth be told, truth be told, I just pray you see Christ when you see me. Truth be told, truth be told.
Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. You are now tuning into Truth Be Told DC, broadcasting live. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear the truth according to the Bible hosted by IUIC DC. For music, clothing, and instruments of learning, visit originalroyalty.com and israelunite.org. Shalom.
Shalom, fam. Welcome back to Truth Be Told DC. I'm Officer Matthew to my right.
Officer Lindell.
And to my left.
Officer Phinehas.
So today's topic is Democrats Hate Blacks Part 2. So we got to go into this because there's still more confusion amongst the people, or our people in specific, with the Democrats and the politics. You know, we're not Republicans, but we letting you know politics is not for us. But our people are caught up in the stronghold of the Democratic Party, so we just got to bring out some more scripts and clips to clarify the foolishness.
Yeah, because our people, I mean, it's amazing, man. You know, with all this hype about Donald Trump and how bad he is, if Donald Trump was a quarter as bad as the Democrats to our people, then you really be seeing something. And that's not to say that Donald Trump is good, because he's definitely not for our people. He's for his people. He says America first, so we already know who that's talking about. But if you look at the death and destruction and what the Democrats have promoted to our people, the homosexuality that they push,
transgenders,
the abortion, all these different things that are highly destructive. And then when you look at the cities that they run, every city that they run where there's blacks and Hispanics, they are hellholes. I don't care if you look at Compton, Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, I could just Atlanta, you know, where our people really live, not in the high-rise cities. I'm talking about where we actually live at. I could just go on and on. Matter of fact, when I was putting together the show, because we're going to highlight some cities, it was so many cities that we can't even give you all the videos, because the show would be like 24 hours. We can't even do it.
Right, now people caught up in that foolishness. We still trusting in oppression. Go ahead and open up with John 8:32 real quick. So let's get the show started.
The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So the truth is that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans make up the 12 tribes of Israel. So let's go ahead and jump right into the scripts. Let's open up Isaiah 30 and 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
So the scripture say, death unto the rebellious children, you Israelites that take counsel, but not of the Most High. The most of our people's counsel coming from politics, the Democratic Party, namely. Read. Right.
And that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
Right, and they cover because the Democratic Party, you got a lot of so-called black Christians that are Democrats, but they use the covering of I'm a Christian, but yet the Democratic Party pushing abortion, transgender, homosexuality. Go ahead.
That cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
That they may do what?
That they may add sin to sin.
Keep reading.
That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth.
So they sitting up at the DNC, Hillary Clinton, Media Matters, CNN. They going down to Egypt, trusting everything that Esau say. Don't want to hear nothing coming out the scriptures. Read.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
To do what?
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
So they just reinforcing Esau's lies. They go, look, I didn't agree with that, so I need to go to another white man and get his opinion. That's all they doing. Read.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
To do what?
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And we sitting in the shadow of Egypt here in D.C. And our people, I mean, it's like it's a serious spirit here. People just locked in these politics. Read.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be ashamed.
The what?
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh shall be ashamed.
Because it's a shameful thing. When you talking to a Democratic Christian, you bring up transgenders and transgender bathrooms and abortion, they got a shame look on their face. How you going to defend that? And you supposed to be rolling with the Most High and Christ.
And not only that, when you ask them, what has Obama done for you? It's crickets. I asked so many people, like, okay, you had the black president. What did he do for you? Oh, he couldn't do nothing because the Republicans shut down everything he was trying to do. They ain't stopping from helping them transgenders.
Right. That's the change he brought. He changed a man into a woman.
Exactly.
And changed you from having money in your pocket to lend. That's what he changed.
Yeah, he changed the black unemployment, doubled that.
Yeah, and he changed your health care too.
And that murder rate in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
800-something people killed last year in his home city.
Right. He didn't even do nothing for the brothers in Chicago. Come on, man. Let's go ahead and get that. Let's jump to verse 12.
I ain't finished verse 3.
Oh, you ain't finished verse 3?
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be ashamed.
Uh-huh.
And in the trust of shadow of Egypt, your confusion.
Uh-huh.
That was it.
Hit verse 12.
12.
Yeah.
Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression.
And do what?
And trust in oppression.
So our people trust in it. They trust in the government. They trust in the Democratic Party. What's going to happen?
In perverseness.
And stay perverseness. Because there's some perverse things coming out of that Democratic policy. It says you're going to stay what? And stay what?
In perverseness and stay thereon.
That's why people can't never get out the ghettos and the slums. It's a continuous cycle. And that's the whole Democratic policy, is to keep our people in that. The Republicans too, but our people are in that Democratic stronghold, and that's what we're dealing with. Read.
Verse 13. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall.
So all this sin is a breach ready to fall.
Swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
There you go. So let's go ahead and roll this video of the top coon here, or somebody commenting on this joker. Look at this video. Go ahead and roll that. John Lewis joins oppressor.
Georgia is being cast as the undisputed champion of Black America, standing in opposition to Donald Trump on behalf of all African Americans. Well, Lewis does not speak for all African Americans. Mason Weaver used to be a Black Panther, for example. He now says Lewis is a, quote, civil rights turncoat who's collaborating with the Democratic Party to oppress Black America. Mr. Weaver joins us now to explain what he means. Mr. Weaver, thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Really, my pleasure.
So what did you mean by that?
Well, you know, in the early 70s and late 60s, we were demonstrating and protesting for the right to compete as adult citizens in America. We were not demonstrating to be taken care of better. Now, Congressman Lewis, he marched across the Pettus Bridge, and they beat him and ran over him. But those were Democrats. It was Democrat. George Wallace stood in the schoolhouse yard. It was Democrats, Bull Connors, that oppressed folks. It was Democrats that voted for the litmus test called the literacy test and the poll tax. He was fighting Democrats. But after they beat his behind on that bridge and ran over him and stomped him in the ground, he got up and turned and joined them. He joined the oppressors and became a stooge for them, where he was now sitting and presiding over the destruction of the Black community, the destruction of the Black men, the destruction of the Black woman with drugs and gangs. He has presided over the worst school system in the world, where Black people are learning only to be gang prep. So I'm outraged that the demonstration that he had early in his life has turned into a subjugation of his rights and authority as a Black leader.
So when you say he's presided over, are you speaking of his congressional district?
Not just his congressional district, but the Congressional Communist Black Caucus that has every district they own and control is a ghetto hellhole. It's a place that no one wants to go to. They're in control of every inner city school system, every inner city police, every inner city jail. They have produced nothing but drugs and misery. Black-owned businesses, Black-owned housing has been reduced. They have presided over the destruction of Black people. They should be ashamed of themselves, and I don't understand why any Black person could be a Democrat.
Huh. Interesting. So you believe that John Lewis, when he gets up and says anything, is already discredited because of what he's failed to do since the Civil Rights era?
He has done nothing. John Lewis, bless his heart, it took courage to do what he did in his early life. But what he has done now, he has turned himself to his enemy, like a little girl being beaten by daddy and joins daddy, like an abused woman beaten by her husband, she joins the husband. He has joined the enemy. He has joined the oppressor. And what he should do, if you're a real man, John Lewis, if you're a real hero, you stand up tomorrow morning and you look at the American people and you apologize. You have led them through decades of hell. You should apologize, say you made a mistake, say that you tried to work with them. But the Democratic Party has always been the party of abuse, always been the party of the Klan, the party that went to war to keep slaves, the party that's always been the destruction of Black people. Mr. Lewis, you have presided over the destruction of Black America, and you owe us an apology. And matter of fact, you're more concerned, he's more concerned about Trump being the illegitimate president, but John Lewis is the illegitimate congressman.
So, presumably, you don't believe that John Lewis is doing this on purpose, or that other members of the Congressional Black Caucus are doing this on purpose, do you?
That's why I love you so much, Tucker. You're so kind. You're so genuine. But I know that you hate BS. So I'm going to tell you, all I've seen that he has gotten rich and his people have gotten poor. The black caucus has gotten more power and influence, and the black people that preside over has gotten poor. More drugs, more gangs, less business, less home ownership, less education, more jail, more drugs. Now, if you did that in your job, you'll be fired. If you did that in any place else, you'll be fired. The worse black people are, the poorer we are, the stronger the Congressional Black Caucus is, the more powerful Democrats are, the worse off black people are. So I'm just saying, as a citizen of America, looking around my country, I'm saying that every place you find black people and Democrats, you find poverty. Now, wait for someone to say where I'm wrong. You find disgrace, you find degradation, you find no jobs, you find a place that is utterly unlivable. That's his legacy.
Mason Weaver, not a mincer of words. Thanks for joining us tonight with your perspective.
Stay right,
Appreciate
or stay right. We got to just stay right.
Yeah, he just kept it real. You know, even Esau was flabbergasted. You know, he liked hearing that, too.
Yeah, Esau had his mouth wide. I'm going to tell you something, though. That man went into my head and literally said everything that I feel about the Democrats. And that's no lie. Like I said, I don't have no love for the Republicans, but the one thing I can say about the Republicans, they don't hide the fact that they ain't trying to help us. The Democrats actually act like they're helping us, but just like the brother said, everywhere where they supposedly helping us, it's a hellhole.
Right, just like America's democracy when you go overseas.
Yeah, just same thing with the democracy. Oh, we bring a democracy to Iraq. We bring a democracy to Syria. Anywhere they go, it's a hellhole. That's BS. And I like it that he called it just the way it is.
Right, and they got coons presiding over the taskmaster like they had in Egypt. Let's go ahead and jump to Isaiah 31.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel.
That's what our people don't look at. They look at, they trust in the chariots and things like that. Look, they got welfare. They got WIC. They got Section 8. All these things that our people are trusting in.
Yeah, I was going to say, Egypt is America.
Right.
Same thing. So Isaiah's talking about Egypt, but he's really talking about America.
Exactly.
It's the same principle. You look at our people, they trust in the system.
Right.
Even our dad would tell us, oh, you got to
vote.
Work the system. If you don't work the system.
It wasn't even set up for us. That's our people just under strong delusion.
There's nowhere in history on this earth can you go back and look at a people that was enslaved and voted themselves out of slavery. That's never happened.
The property voting itself out. Come on, man.
Neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers.
He gonna do what?
But will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity.
So you see that our people that's over there helping them, presiding over the destruction of our people, the Most High gonna rise up against them. Believe that.
Now the Egyptians are men and not God.
They what?
The Egyptians are men and not God.
So they're not talking about ancient Egypt. This is actually talking about America. So it's letting you know the white man ain't God. That's what the scriptures are saying. Because Egypt has been destroyed at this point when you're reading the book of Isaiah. Read.
And their horse is flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall.
Hold up, both he what?
Both he that helpeth shall fall.
So you over there presiding over the destruction of your people, you gonna fall with this country.
And he that is helped shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. For thus saith the Lord, spoken unto me, like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey. When the multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them.
Right.
So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion.
He gonna do what?
So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion.
So when they talking about John Lewis coming down there fighting for you, getting you out of poverty, the Most High sending Christ down here to fight. That's who we voting for on this show. Believe that.
And for the hill thereof. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also he will deliver it, and passing over he will preserve it.
Right, so the 1/3 going to be preserved. That's crystal clear. Let's go ahead and jump to Psalm 60. Let's jump to Psalm 60 and 62 and verse 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 62 and verse 10. Trust not in oppression.
Do what?
Trust not in oppression.
So that's clear, because my brother said they telling they gonna do one thing, but they doing another. Just look at the fruits of their policies.
Yeah, didn't he say that John Lewis joined the oppressor? That's
After
what the
the
Black
beat
Panther
down.
said. After he got beat down by the Democrats, he joined them.
Right, beat Stockholm syndrome into the brother. Right.
Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery.
And don't become vain and rob, because the brother's robbing his people.
If riches increase, set not your heart upon them.
So the brother's riches have obviously increased, but the scriptures say don't set your mind upon them.
God has spoken once. Twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God.
Power belongeth unto who?
Power belongeth unto God. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work.
So God gonna render to every man according to his works. That's why you got to get on the righteous works. That's what the show about. That's what this truth is about. Showing our people that they need to repent and keep the commandments to get their works right. So let's go to Isaiah 32. So this is the scripture right here.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 32 and verse 5. The vile person shall no more be called liberal.
Hold on, what is the liberal person called?
The vile person shall no more be called liberal.
So that's already letting you know. It says the vile person shall no more be called liberal. When you a vile person, I mean, that's a harsh thing to be called. Keep reading.
Nor the churl said to be bountiful.
Because you seeing that all of the foolishness, they got the welfare, the WIC, the Section 8. It ain't bountiful because you still in the hood. Read.
For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity.
His what?
His hearts will work iniquity.
His policies are going to work iniquity. Read.
To practice hypocrisy.
So he's practicing hypocrisy. Look, man, we out here to help black people, but at the same time, the black community is far worse now than it was when we was under Jim Crow. Read.
And to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fill.
So if you depending on that, you still going to be hungry and thirsty. Why? Because your situation is not improving. You can't improve your situation based off lies. That's what that's telling you. You want to say something? Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get the poor. Let's get Isaiah 14 and 32. Oh, we ain't get that? Oh, yeah, get 7. My fault, get 7.
Verse 7. The instruments also of the churl are evil.
The what?
The instruments also of the churl are evil.
So it's letting you know their instruments, their policies, they are wicked, evil policies. Planned Parenthood is wicked as hell. The bad water.
Yeah, the bad water in Flint. When you look at it, their whole welfare system and everything like that was wicked. But when you actually listen to them talk, all they talk about is they try to get like put you in like this class warfare. We got to get the rich people, take their money and give it to you so we can just have you sitting at the house and be independent so that we can just keep using you for your votes.
Right,
so
keep you on the plantation.
Because we're going to go on further on. And like if some of these people like your John Lewis and your Maxine Waters, they don't even live in their district. She got a $4 million. Y'all going to see. I ain't even going to say
right.
nothing. I'm going to let you see.
Yeah, I don't want to bring out the spoiler alert, but yeah, be mindful of that. They don't even live in the areas that they vote and representing. Read.
He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor.
He does what?
He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words.
Damn.
Even when the needy speaketh right.
So they like, look, we hungry. We want better jobs and education. He come in there, look, Obama going to save you. Obama loves you. He going to take care of you. He done got 800 bodies up in Chicago. Ain't do nothing. That's crystal clear. So let's get the poor real quick.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 32. What shall one then answer the messengers of the nation, that the Lord hath found Zion, and the poor of his people.
The what?
And the poor of his people shall trust in it.
Right. So that scripture telling you who the poor is, and it says that they out here killing the poor with their lying words. Let's get that in the Habakkuk 3 and 14, because that's all they doing. Our people dying left and right, fooling around with the Democrats and Republicans, but mainly we focusing on the Democrats. Like I said, that's what our people are in. And they are absolutely destroying the black community with their foolishness.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3.
Chapter
2. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him?
Yes. Right, so go ahead and go to 3 and 14.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 14. Thou didst strike through thou didst strike through with his staves on the head of his villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly.
So they look to devour the poor secretly because they tell you one thing, but they got a secret plot and agenda to keep you in a lower state. Believe that, black man, black woman, Latin man, Latin woman. Even look at the reservations that they got for our people. They just hellholes. So let's go ahead and get that Isaiah 32, 6 and 7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 6. 6 and 7?
Yeah.
Verse 6. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail.
So we got to reread that because that's the whole point of the policy. Read 7 again.
The instruments also of the churl are evil.
So we letting you know, we got to say it again. Their instruments are evil. Their policies are evil. Read.
He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words.
Because they tell you that Planned Parenthood is a and what they tell you, it's a health clinic. Meanwhile, they killing babies left and right up in there, man, and selling baby parts for Lamborghini. The woman said it on tape. Then they talking about it was an edited foot. How you gonna edit an undercover footage, man? Jokers is evil, man. Read.
He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right.
So when you out here, again, when you tell them what's going on in your community, they're going to destroy you with lying words. Let's go ahead and roll this Baltimore video.
Say hello to Jackson, a citizen of the wealthiest country the world has ever known. And yet, he's clothed in handouts. His parents can't find work. They have no home of their own. And every morning they come to the Manor House charity where the poor of Baltimore meet for a little food, warmth and compassion.
What is your message to President Trump?
Come and help us. Instead of critiquing us, come help us. And you will see that we need help. Bad.
Like much of America, this is a story of two worlds. Baltimore is actually something of a boomtown these days. But it doesn't feel like it in many parts of the city. In this economy, there is no trickle-down. Gun crime is surging here. Baltimore was even more violent than Chicago last year, driven by gang turf wars. For some of its residents, this is a city where selling your body or selling drugs is the only job available.
If you want to know what poverty in America looks like, well, this is it. Incredibly, this entire block here is pretty much made up of dilapidated, abandoned houses. Incredibly, some people are still living in between this, though. Under President Obama, poverty grew in America, and President Trump says he's going to fix it. He's going to deal with what he calls the carnage in America, of crime, of drugs, of gangs, of violence, and of poverty. Well, there are few places better to try and do that than Baltimore.
Marcus Alsop has lived here for 40 years. He repairs the city's homes, an eyewitness to the worst Baltimore has to offer.
The poor living are in the single houses, the row houses in Baltimore City, where they're generally rat infested, regardless of what you do as a person living there. Roaches, mice, an epidemic in bed bugs. The neighborhoods have fallen apart, not because the people are bad people. We're underpaid, undereducated, and so many of us have been living like this for the second and third generation until we don't even know how to change. Despair is a way of living.
And this is where it resides, on a bleak row of abandoned homes. This is the end of the line for Americans gripped by poverty. Here we met the last family living on the block. 3 generations of the Stewart family are crammed in here. They're months behind on the rent. Unpaid bills are piling up. Not surprising when they have just $30 a day to survive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, remember what the brother brought out earlier. that every place where you find Democrats and black people, you find poverty. So what I did was I put together, I only got, like I said, 4 cities. We're going to cover Chicago, Detroit, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, and Camden, New Jersey. There's so many cities, man, I couldn't really put everything into the videos just to show you clips. But we understand that we in this low state because of the curses, and we need to wait on Christ. We don't believe in no politics, whether it be independent, Republican, or anything like that. But a lot of our people are caught up in believing that these people, these so-called liberals are there to help them.
Right. I got a white lady talking about Black Lives Matter. Meanwhile, she down with abortion. A lot of people just be tricked by the dumbest stuff. Get that in Isaiah 28:15.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
Our people made a covenant with death, sin,
and with hell are we at agreement.
And we in agreement with hell because look at our communities. Look at what you just seen in Chicago. We love the hood life. I mean, the Baltimore, that thing looked like a third world country. I didn't know. I had to really, recollect what I was looking at. I mean, because, we go to Baltimore, but it's vicious up there, man. Read.
When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us.
Because a lot of us still believe in the white man. When Christ come back, we say Christ is a black man coming back to render vengeance. Our people don't believe that.
For we have made lies our refuge. We have made lies our refuge.
So we made the Democratic Party our refuge.
And under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
And that's clearly a falsehood that our people believe in. So get that. Give me hell. Let's get hell real quick. Because it said we are in hell, or we in agreement with. So this is what we agree to as a people.
You want that in the back or the one in Isaiah?
No, I want Isaiah 5:13. So we're going to get this Isaiah 5:13 because what you witnessed up there, I mean, it's hard to look at worse. The only worst city I think I seen was Detroit.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
Slavery at a lower state.
Because they have no knowledge.
We don't have knowledge of God's laws. That's why we're in the lower state that we're in. That's why shows like this, the bishop putting works in the 4 corners. This truth is getting out, even through various other camps to get us out of this captivity, the hell that we're in. Read.
And their honorable men are famished.
And John Lewis is a so-called honorable man, but yet he's famished. And as a result of him being famished, what?
And their multitude dried up with thirst.
So the people that trust in him are dried up, like the valley of dry bones. Like when you go to Baltimore, it's like a wasteland up there when you see our people up there. Like I said, despair is a way of living. You go up there, it's young men and women on drugs, heroin. I mean, it's prostitution. Like we see this stuff when we at camp during the day though. They doing lines of coke and heroin right where we holding up camp at, man. It's crazy.
Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself.
What?
Hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory and their multitude and their pomp. And he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
And our people have further descended deeper and deeper into the pits of hell to where now we're in America living in communities that look like third world countries. Like we got to wake up and get out of the stupid that we in. So you want to go ahead?
Yeah, we're going to run y'all going to run a commercial real quick? Not yet? Okay, so we're going to keep it moving. Because we got to get to the source of why we living in these states. We looking to people to bail us out of something that they can't bail us out of. It's up to us to get us out of these conditions. No political party is going to be able to get us out of the conditions that we're in. And the Bible is going to explain why. Go ahead and start at Deuteronomy 28, and let's start at verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So that's one thing you got to understand. Right now we fighting for equality, but God said if we kept his commandments, we'd be ruling the earth. We supposed to be on top. We fighting for equality. We at the bottom. Let's find out why we at the bottom. Go to verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay, so it's obvious we being the Israelites, we didn't do what God commanded us to do. So now we have curses that we have to deal with. So go to verse 16, the next verse. Let's see.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
That's what we just saw in Baltimore. And like I said, we got other cities that we're going to highlight. But cursed shall we be in the city. This is a curse put on us by God. So you're not going to go to the polls and vote your way out of that.
You mean the first black president, Bill Clinton, ain't going to save us, man?
Yeah. His saxophone, he ain't going to be able to play no tunes to get you out of your poverty. Believe that. Go ahead.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
Cursed shall you be in the field. What's the field? It was a cotton field, a sugarcane field. Today is the workforce. You heard him say that the unemployment rate, it doubled under Obama.
Right, it doubled. He said the poverty and unemployment doubled under Obama. And that's actually for the black community. So let's just keep that in mind.
All right, so we're going to jump to, let's keep going. We're going to get 17.
Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store.
Your basket is going into your savings account. Statistically, white families have 1,000 times more wealth than the average black family.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, statistically, it's 1,000 times. Yeah, 1,000 times richer than the average black family.
Hey man, give verse 44 then on
and
that
then
one.
It says, "Cursed shall be your store," talking about your business. A lot of times when we in Baltimore and all these different cities I travel to teach and stuff like that, we don't own none of the businesses, but we make up almost 100% of the communities.
So the Chinese man could swim over here with a knapsack on his back.
He
Is that
sure
what you like
could.
to say?
And I remember I think I brought it out before, but I was talking to the Vietnamese lady and I asked her, could we open up a shop in her neighborhood, a black person going over there? And she said no. You can't open up no shop because they're not going to support.
Right.
But yeah, the Chinese man that don't even know English, cuss you out, call you all types of niggas and everything, open up a shop and y'all to shop with them.
Right.
You want verse 44?
Yeah, get that.
Verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
So we got to also borrow money from these people because we don't have nothing as the officer bringing out.
Yeah, so that's another good curse. But we're going to roll a video. Let's go to Detroit. We're going to go to the city of Detroit. Let's see what our people doing there under these Democrats.
From downtown Detroit to urban wasteland takes just a few blocks. The city's being hollowed out street by street. Less than a mile from the city centre, Derek Smith showed us what's left of his neighbourhood.
Yeah, a year and a half ago, this was a school, functional. It didn't look nothing like this. No graffiti, none of that.
And over there, those houses?
Over there, the houses, none of that was burned up. None of that was burned up.
And now it looks like a war zone.
Beyond the war zone. It looked like, it's almost like we in baby Iraq or something. Like bombs is hitting over here or something. Like every other block. Like you see houses getting burnt up or torn down.
The barber shop is one of the few stores left standing. But inside they wonder for how much longer.
Every time you come around, there's another house gone. Look at the schools is closed. You got houses being burned down. They're kicking you out your house, and the scrappers is coming in. What a scrapper is the guy that come in and take all the copper, all the aluminum, all the metal out your house. The house is worthless. It's disappearing in front of my eyes. I mean, it's you blink and something else gone. For real.
250,000 people have left Detroit in the last decade alone, fleeing massive unemployment and what's now the highest crime rate in America.
This is where the guys got in, right here. This window here, where they got in.
Nothing is spared.
They went through the fire truck and took some of the tools. It looks like they used some of our own tools against us. I feel for these people. They got nothing left. I mean, look at that. There's nothing left. I didn't think it was going to be like this. I thought when I retired, when I came on 27 years ago, that if I retired at 25 years, that there would still be something left. There's nothing left of this job. There's nothing left of the city. It's just depressing.
The problems here have been coming for decades with the decline of the car industry and chronic mismanagement. But Detroit now has simply run out of money. It can't afford to pay its bills, and it is one step away from the biggest city bankruptcy in American history. Once America's fifth biggest city, Detroit put the American dream on wheels and gave it a soundtrack.
All of the Supremes' greatest hits, Where Did Our Love Go, You Can't Hurry Love.
Studio A, where Motown was born. Museum curator Alan Rules says many people in the city now face a desperate struggle just to get by.
That's the nature of survival. And so those who may not have the opportunity because of whatever their circumstances still have the desire to survive.
The struggle to save Detroit goes on with emergency financial management this week. The future of a whole city is at stake. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Detroit.
So why every city that they seen the interview has got the highest crime rate? We getting fried.
Yeah, man. I mean, really, it makes you mad, and that's the reason why we had to do a part 2, because I still see, you know, a lot of people out there trusting in these foolish political systems. Like I said,
right,
Democratic or Republican, but it seems like most of our people have been tricked into siding with, you know, with the Democrats for whatever particular reason. But we, like I said, we cursed in the city, as you see Detroit. We already showed Baltimore. So let's go to verse 32 to you know, for other people that may, so they'll know that these curses are talking about the children of Israel, who are us.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
So our sons and daughters were given to another people in slavery, and today, what is it, like the CPS or whatever it is?
Child Protective Service.
Child Protective Service. So that's still going on. These curses only fit us. No other group of people are fitting these curses, in case you knew tuning in. Let's go to verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
So that's letting you know who the enemy is right there. Who put the yokes of iron on our neck? Who do we got to depend on for everything? Clothing, food, water, everything. Driver's license. Who gave us our history? Who gave us our religion? This is telling you right here who this is talking about. And if that ain't clear enough, let's go to verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Lord is going to bring us back into Egypt, which is a Greek word that means bondage or slavery, again with ships. So this is Moses talking to the Israelites, saying, you're going back into slavery again, but this time on ships, if you don't keep these commandments. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So the Bible is saying you're going to be sold to your enemies for slave men and slave women once we got off the ships here in America. So it said sold to your enemies. Keyword enemies. Because a lot of people think when they got them welfare check, oh, this is my friend now.
Them government jobs.
Yeah, you got that government job. You sitting up now, you got that because of affirmative action. Oh, these people my friend. I got a retirement. I got a pension.
And it's illustrated so well when you look at the movie. It's a parody movie, but it's a lot of gems in there. I'm going to get you, sucker. There's a lot of gems in that movie that talk about that. One of the scenes talk about that.
Let's see what God says about your enemy, whether we should be voting and trusting in our enemy. Go ahead and get Sirach 12 and 10.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So God says never trust your enemies, because he's going to get wicked just like iron rust. So why would we think that we could vote for these people that when you look at the history of the Democratic Party, which we covered in the first video, they formed the KKK. They fought the Civil War to keep slaves. And like the brother brought out, they beat John Lewis over the head. I think they knocked the sense out of that brother.
They did. They entered in the coon. They knocked him into the sunken place. That's what happened.
They knocked him into the sunken place. He woke up a coon. He had a raccoon fur hat on when he got up.
Like Davy Crockett. And then you know what killed me? They down here taking down the statues, and them Democrats up there that they pulling down.
Yeah. All the statues that they talking about taking down, the Confederate statues or whatever, they all was Democrats.
Right.
See, these people are the devil, man. I'm telling you, man.
And our people... Not one Negro got a job since that damn statue came down, or one house been built in Detroit.
They probably didn't even hire Negroes to take the statue down.
No, they didn't. I had a Chinese man pull them Jones down.
Man, look, y'all better stop dealing with these people. Let's go to Luke 1:68, because we're going to stay on the enemies a little bit. Because our people, man, y'all need to stop trusting in these politics. I don't care what party you on. Neither party's going to save you. That's thus saith the Lord.
The book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people,
Now we're in the New Testament, and the Bible is saying, "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel." I thought He was saving all people.
Right? It says redeemed His people.
Hey, man, y'all need to start reading. Go ahead.
Verse 69. And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of His servant David.
For us, the Israelites, God's people. Go ahead.
As He spake by the mouth of His holy prophets, which have been since the world began. Yet that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
So it says we're going to be saved from our enemies. That's who's going to save us out of these cities, out of these projects, from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. And it's clear that the Democrats hate us.
Right. Now, Bernie Sanders was supposed to come in and save us.
Yeah.
Hey, so that means we still in captivity.
Absolutely.
Because this is saying that Christ is going to be the horn of our salvation, that He's going to come and save us.
Hey.
So that means the Negro's not free.
I mean, you look at Chicago and Detroit, we in something.
Hey, man, you know, you listen to these Negroes, they thought Obama was going to save them. What did he do? He went golfing on them Negroes. Y'all better stop believing in these politics. Believe that. Let's go to Psalms 83, because we focusing on the enemy. Let's see what the enemy going to do.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So they that hate God and hate His people have lifted up the head. I mean, they got prideful. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
So what is part of the crafty counsel? They go from 1 minute, they was the Democratic Party, was the party of the KKK. All of a sudden, when they gave the Negro, Jim Crow and all that, they gave the Negro the right to vote. They took off their hats, the KKK hats, Klan hats. Now all of a sudden they love Negroes. They can't get enough of them. But yet, everywhere where they put Democrats and blacks, just like the Black Panther said, is death and destruction. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So that's what they did. They cut us off from being a nation. All the nations did that. That's why we call ourselves African Americans, Puerto Ricans, and all these foolish titles. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom.
So the tabernacles of Edom, we're just going to stop right there. The white man. Just get right to the point. So let's talk about him, because that's his political machine that's got the Negro mesmerized.
Right.
Thinking that he's going to vote himself out of captivity.
Or he going to march and rally, then vote Trump about the White House.
Yeah, or he going to get him impeached, or he going to lay on the ground with some Skittles in his pocket. Y'all believe going to protest the same man that's killing you, protest him to lock himself up.
Right. I mean, that joint is fun. Like the woman talking about Black Lives Matter. I'm just...
Man, look. So let's go ahead and talk about Edom, the so-called white man, Esau. Go ahead and get that Malachi 1 and 4.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
So now God does hate. He hates these people forever. It says indignation forever. And also says the border of wickedness. So we can already see, now how in the world are you going to trust the border of wickedness? Go to the polls, vote for the border of wickedness.
Look, you talking about voting for going to the polls. I'm looking at Chicago and Detroit. Where the hell did they set them polling stations up at? They didn't hardly have buildings out there. They had to just drop them off in the street.
I'm going to tell you,
man. Crazy, man.
I'm going to tell you, when I was looking at Detroit, when I went to Detroit, because I went to the camp up there, and I was just waiting for RoboCop just to pull up, because that joint looked just like the movie. I was like, this joint prophetic. I don't know who wrote that joint. I thought RoboCop was gonna get out. They got us crushed, man, and it's sad. You know what I mean? Like it's it's a joke, but it's sad because our people living like that, and a lot of our people, they don't know no better. They trust and they believe in these political figures. On both sides, and it's a sad thing, man.
Right, that's what the whole point of the show. So if you got brothers and sisters in your family or friends living in these communities that they're still talking about voting, you need to go ahead and send them the link to the video, straight up.
All right, so let's go ahead. So we talking about the border of wickedness. Now let's go ahead and get that Job.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
So, who's running the earth? It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. We just read Malachi 1 and 4 that the wicked is Esau, so he's running the world. So this is crystal clear. It's like, you really got to think. There's no way that somebody that God has made to be wicked is going to let you vote and get yourself out of the predicament, knowing that you the Israelites. They know that you the Israelites.
Right, and you the #1 cash crop in the country. I mean, the white man has millions of shipping vessels. He ain't loaded up Negroes in mass and sent us back to Africa. Because you already know who going to buy all his garbage and who going to work the jobs you don't want to work.
Yeah. Before we roll this video, I want to say, y'all can go to our, to get the rest of this class, go to the YouTube feed that we have, or you can go to Pure Gold Media. Type that in, Manuel, puregoldmedia.com, or you can go to IUIC, Truth Be Told, our YouTube page, because we're going to be tuning out at a Periscope on New York, because we got to be off by 8. So if y'all want to get the rest of this, we're going to go into this next video, where they're going to be talking about Al Sharpton holding a town hall meeting in Chicago. We're going to see how these brothers spoke to your man Al Sharpton.
Right. He probably had about 20 kilos on him. You should have replayed that video.
Oh, yeah, I should have brought that joint in. Because y'all ain't know Al Sharpton had, like, what, 10 kilos he was trying to sell in the hood?
Yeah.
He became an FBI informant.
Right.
Yeah.
He got a job as an FBI informant on the spot.
Yep. He was like, I'll do whatever y'all want me to do. All right, go ahead and roll that video.
Gangs, guns, drug problem. We have a nepotism, colonialism, and patronage problem.
It's time that we start voting differently.
And every single alderman was a part of this criminal process.
I would call it a serious town meeting. Like the town meetings that those Republicans have called, they call it the Tea Party.
You need to start voting them out.
That's what I challenge the community. Instead of Pharaoh letting us go, black folks, let Pharaoh go.
It does not make a difference whether you got a degree or you're a GED. If you're not part of these past designers, you can't get a job. You can't get a grant. You can't get a contract. So our community is suffering.
We've been trained to vote in a specific manner. Here to say to you that we need to start looking at the manner in which our elected officials have been voting, and say to you, start pulling their voting records. If they have not voted in a manner that is beneficial to you, yours, and your community, then you need to start voting them out.
That's right.
Our aldermen, specifically those aldermen that we voted into office to represent us, have not represented us. It is time that we start voting differently, and I say to you in March that we start voting for those that are going to represent us. Thank you.
There's a lot of people in here who have different agendas and different attitudes, but we did all come together on a peaceful and on one accord. This was a signal sent to City Hall, to the 5th floor, who sent no one down here to make sure that the city that he resides over, that he could step in and say that he's doing something. First of all, I'd like to say one major thing. Stop blaming just anybody for the violence in the city of Chicago. Blame the right people. Not just white people, blame the right people. Because it ain't just white folks a part of this. But it is on the 5th floor. It is on the 5th floor. The 5th floor took your schools. The 5th floor just took all your jobs that he said that he gave to the ex-offender. It's the policies of the administration, and every single alderman was a part of this criminal process that messed over our people. And you was right, brother. You was right. They should let Pharaoh go. But some of these Negroes that say they are ministers need to let him go too. They need to let him go. Our people are suffering and being devastated. We have boarded up houses in every community in our community. It's almost like the curse of Pharaoh. Every other house is boarded up in our neighborhood. Why can't we build it up? So my question is just here. Mr. President, because he watches your program. Mr. President, the man that you have sent down here as the mayor hate us. Ain't no other way of getting around it. We asking the President of the United States. We're asking the President of the United States, let us, the grassroots people,
Not these name brand blue ribbon Negroes. Us, the grassroots people. Let us take our bills. Stop giving them people, them evil people our money. Don't give them our money.
I would like for you, I'm going to make a point, brother. Let's hold in peace. I'm 82 years old, and don't hurry me, please. Amen. Reverend Charlie, I would deal with each one of those communities. I would go to all your God, and I would deal with them. I would call a meeting in each one of these communities. Amen. Roseland, that area, in the area of Northern Park, Maple Park, Trumbull Park, and all that. I would call a serious town meeting. Like the town meetings that those Republicans have called, they call it the Tea Party.
Yes, sir.
We don't want no people in it that don't want to commit.
Amen.
We're going to go to the government.
Yeah.
We're going to get rid of these do-nothing politicians.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
in
Lord.
the city council.
Yes, yes.
The representatives.
Yes, Lord.
The senators and all.
Well.
We're going to, like they shut the government down, we're going to shut these areas.
Amen. Yeah, hallelujah. Thank you, Chief.
And we deal with these, we're going to appoint captains and lieutenants for each one of these communities.
Yes.
And they're going to pick their soldiers. People that's going to really do the job.
That's right.
So let's be clear about something. You said that the president sent the mayor down here and he don't like us. Who voted for him? Last time I checked, the statistics said that he carried every black ward. And every time it comes time for us to do something, we do the same old thing. So I'm simply saying, as clear as I can be, how dumb can you be?
I said they appoint captains, lieutenants. They're going to select their soldiers. That's what the scriptures say.
Exactly. My man was speaking scriptures there. But the one brother, he hit it on point. Just the whole lesson is about. He said the mayor hate us.
Right. What's his Rahm Emanuel?
Yeah, Rahm Emanuel. He said the mayor hates us. He realized that. A lot of these Negroes don't realize that. They still think these people love them. And they got trash and rats all over the place. That's love.
And the last brother said, and y'all voted for him.
Right. Fried them bombs.
How dumb can we be?
Exactly. That's what we trying to tell you, brother. Don't vote for none of them.
Right.
Let's go ahead and get this Psalms 55 and 20, because this be the problem right here.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Because that's how the Democrats roll. Yeah, brother, we looking out for the blacks. We're going to give you welfare, Section 8 and all that. All these programs set up to keep you dependent. Go ahead.
Antifa, Black Lives Matter.
He hath broken his covenant.
Because none of that stuff is set up for that. All this stuff is set up for your destruction. It's not set up to help you. Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
They got mad game. Look at your boy Obama. All the game he ran on the Negroes. They was nice when he got in there. They was crying, running down the street, talking about they ain't got to pay no gas bills and all this other stuff.
Right, women assist on the video saying shit.
Yeah, talking all this stuff when Obama got in. 8 years later, the only ones cheering is transgenders.
Right. They probably interviewing that sister in the homeless shelter now.
Go ahead.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's because they planning our destruction. That's what the whole thing is about. They not about helping us. You can't turn from the Klan and then all of a sudden you going to help people out. People got to look at the crafty counsel behind this.
Because even if you look over the years, Esau has learned that poverty thrives destruction. We'll kill ourselves. They got the experiments in Chicago. That's successful. We're killing thousands and thousands of our own selves. So they say, hey, these inner cities, let's make poverty run high.
And they set their Klansmen up, and they set their good house coons or house Negroes right up above them.
Yeah, we're going to get one of these house coons later on. Let's go ahead to Jeremiah 5 and 31. Yeah, we're gonna keep it moving because these people, man, they the devil, man. I'm gonna tell you that just watching the different cities and stuff like that. That's why I get so pissed off. Like I said, forget the political parties as far as like voting or whatever. But the Democrats piss me off the most because they got so many of our people deceived, and they got so many of our people living in squalor. It really makes me mad, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Go ahead and get that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse 31. The prophets prophesy falsely.
So the prophets, some people, these politicians, they prophets. They prophesy falsely. Oh, if you elect me, you're going to be doing a whole lot better. I'm going to fix your schools. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Go ahead.
And the priests bear rule by their means.
Because they're not following none of the words in this Bible right here. Go ahead.
And my people love to have it. And my people love to have it so.
Our people love to have it that way. They love it. They what do you say? Like they carry every district.
Yeah, they carry every district.
Every year is the same thing. So you look at Chicago. What did we cover? We covered Baltimore, Detroit, and that was just Chicago. And we got another video on Chicago. Yeah, every city is run by Democrats for decades.
And the black
at a local
church,
level.
The black church, every time the voting time come around, had them same politicians come up in the church, do a speech. He'll go to the state fair, wave a hand or two, and that's the last time you see him.
You see them 4 years later, and you more broke. You got more roaches and rats.
And my
man, people ate up, man.
And our people love to have it so.
They love to have it so. They like them pet rats. They
right.
And what will ye do in the end thereof?
Man, just go ahead, man.
I said, what will you do in the end thereof? We need to repent and come out of that foolishness.
That's what we need to do. Because right now I'm at a loss for words with this madness, man. Let's go to this 2 Timothy 4. We're going to keep it moving. 2 Timothy 4.
The book
and 3.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
Because a lot of people won't endure sound doctrine. What's the sound doctrine? That come back to keeping the commandments. We can't depend on politicians. You going down there, you voting and you raising money and doing all that stuff is worthless. Come back to the Bible. Come back to the faith in Christ and the commandments. Go ahead.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears.
That's why they don't want to hear us. No, we don't want to hear what y'all saying out of the Bible. I'm going to vote for Obama. That's where I'm going. I want to listen to him. He talking good.
Yeah, Obama loves me. That's what they say.
Yeah, and we see what he did. Go ahead.
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.
Be turned unto fables. So that's all they got is lies. It was like 800 people killed in Chicago, over 4,000 shot. That's Obama's hometown. And when it came to the transgenders, the pass their law, he went to the hoop like LeBron James.
Right.
Now, there wasn't nobody gonna stop him.
None.
Nobody. He had the White House lit up with the rainbow. All that. Nobody could stop him from doing that.
That's your boy Barry. Our people loved it.
Yeah. Nobody stopped him from doing that. But when it came to helping his own brothers in Chicago,
the Republicans was in his way.
Yeah, the Republicans was in his way. He ain't stopping from them transgenders though. He got it done. Believe that. Let's go to this Amos 5, because this be the problem.
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate.
That's the problem with the Negro. The Negro hate people that's coming with the correction. When we tell you, oh, you got to come back to this Bible, that's hatred. They don't want to hear that. No, I'm going to vote. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to build my own business. I'm going to do this. And we already read earlier, you cursed by the Most High God because you broke his commandments. He's already told you got to come back to keeping the laws, to lift these curses. There's no political, nothing politically you can do. There's nothing monetary you can do. They'll let a few Negroes make it big, but let that Negro get out of line and not go along with the program and see what happened to him.
Right.
Like what they do with Cat Williams. They got him DMX, both of them in the nut house now because they started talking crazy or talking against the system.
Right.
Go ahead.
They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly.
Yeah, because what type of stuff they say about that? Oh, we ain't going with y'all brothers. Y'all brothers in the cult.
No, y'all a hate group.
Y'all a hate group and all this. With no proof. They just throw out this stuff. No proof. Because you know who said it? God said it. The so-called white man said it. So
just like he did with the Black Panthers.
Yeah, he did the same thing with the Black Panthers. Now, when you look back on the history of the Black Panthers, they wasn't a hate group. But any group that actually tries to help their people, that's when they come out and demonize them and say different things. Now, what do we teach? The black man got to get a job. You got to marry your women. You got to raise your children. What's hating about that?
Right. And then a dumb coon to come up and oppose that while he walking past people on K2 passed out in the bus stop. The foolish Negro comes up and calls us a hate group. He done walked past all death, murder, and destruction to come over there and try to run us off the block. Our people's sick, man.
All right, so let's go ahead and run this video of the top boon coon on the female side, Maxine Waters.
Well, since we live in a world, excuse me, where pro wrestling references are now the very same thing as violent threats, one wonders what to make of remarks that California Congresswoman and progressive hero Maxine Waters recently made about HUD Secretary Ben Carson. During a speech on Saturday in New Orleans, Waters said that when Carson appears before her congressional committee, quote, "I'm going to take his ass apart," excuse me. Quote, "Carson knows nothing about the mission of HUD," Waters continued. "He doesn't care about people in public housing. He believes that if you are poor, it is your fault, and he doesn't know the difference between an immigrant and a slave," whatever that means. Now, we've mocked Maxine Waters before in this show, but we should take her seriously on this subject. Congresswoman Waters is a confirmed expert on the question of housing, especially her own housing. Consider where she lives, in a 6,000 square foot, $4.3 million mansion in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Now, how'd she afford a place like that after having spent the last 40 years working in government? We'd hate to speculate. How does she keep getting reelected despite not living in her own congressional district? No clue there either. The district Waters actually represents in Congress has the second highest percentage of African American residents in the state of California. Now, the neighborhood where Waters actually lives is just 6% black, or as she might put it herself if she didn't live there, it's segregated, like 1950s level segregated. And as we mentioned, it's really, really rich. So how did Maxine Waters pull off a housing coup like that? Who knows, but it almost qualifies her to be HUD Secretary herself.
So Maxine Waters living in a multi-million-dollar house in an all-white neighborhood.
Right.
Talking about she knows the struggle of the people.
Right. I mean,
that's what, and these are people, and they vote for this lady. She's been in office for like 100 years, and she be talking all crazy out the side of her head and stuff.
She gonna take his ass apart. She living up in an all-white area, man. And the Negro hearing that like, "Ooh, girl, go get him." While you up in there looking at the TV on the milk crate, she up in the what do you say? 6,000 square foot mansion.
Yeah, she up in there. She up in that mansion dancing. I feel good with that James Brown wig on.
Right.
You better get out of here.
Meanwhile, she's skiing across your money.
Exactly.
And let's continue. Let's remember the title of the show is "Democrats Hate Black People," Part 2. All right, so let's get Deuteronomy 17 and verse 14, because the question is: so what should you, so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, do? The Israelites. What should you do? Keep God's commandments and the faith in Christ. Your leader is Christ. That's what we're supposed to follow. We're not supposed to be following after these doctrines of men, traditions of men, philosophies. But we're going to bring it out the scripts. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 14. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as in all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
You see that? So the scriptures are telling you clearly. There's no private interpretation in this. It's clearly telling you the people that you set above you, number one, got to be of your brother. The Most High God got to choose them. It says, number two, it cannot be of the stranger. So if we are supposed to be followers of Christ, supposedly Christians, keeping God's laws, then why are we voting for heathens?
Not only that, it says king and he. So it's letting you know it's only supposed to even be dealing with the men.
Exactly. So even when you look at this, if we as a people followed after the instructions that we're given, which is the Bible, then when the heathens are voting, we wouldn't vote at all, because we are still in our captivity. We are not free. We have the delusion of freedom, But you can't freely go where you want. You can't freely build a house where you want. You can't freely drink water or decide, hey, I'm on my own streets. I'm going to sell what I want on my own street. I'm going to build a structure in my backyard.
Hell, you can't even shoot deer in your own backyard until deer season. You got to get a permit by the white man. Come on, man.
Because we still in our captivity. Y'all just got the delusion of freedom. It's better that you know you're in captivity so you can know that you need to change things. But that's the problem with our people. They don't realize they're in captivity, so they happy with the slums and the little bit of crumbs they get from their oppressors. Let's get the next scripture. Look at Daniel 2 and 20.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 20. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons, and remove kings and set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge unto them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in darkness, and in the light dwelleth with him.
So the Most High God, he's the one that gives knowledge. He's the one that set up kings. So now, when you examine that, okay, wait a minute. The kings that rule over us are heathens. Why? Because we transgress his laws. Therefore, the scriptures say that we will be in captivity. We have not gotten out of that.
Right.
So look, our people need to wake the hell up. Stop thinking that you are a part of this society. You are in your captivity. This is not your rest. Let's get the next scripture on that. Daniel 4 and 17.
The book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men.
See, so the Most High has set up the basis of men. Remember, we read earlier that the Most High hates Esau with an everlasting hatred. These are the bases of men, the borders of wicked, and the Most High has set them up over us to punish us because we broke his laws. We didn't keep his commandments. That's a just God. So I know we did a class earlier about fearing the Most High God, and somebody made a comment and said, "Why should we fear? He a God of love. You should fear. Look at our conditions. We're in captivity. We're in the bottom of society. Poverty, it has grown, has doubled and tripled in the black community alone. Not alone, we talk about, we got to look at the Hispanic community. You look at the Native Americans, their reservations is a trap. They say, matter of fact, they high in diabetes
and
alcoholism. They got suicide. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Right, and that's somebody that you saying that to. That's somebody that loves Babylon. What kind of question? Why do I need to fear the Most High? When you look at the conditions of our people, it's obvious that you need to fear the Most High, man.
Exactly, because he put us in the state because we transgress his laws. All right, let's get the next verse. Jeremiah 17 and 5.
This is a heavy one right here.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusts in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord.
You see that? Read that again. Read that again, bro.
Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusts in man, and maketh flesh his arm, whose heart departeth from the Lord.
So the Most High is letting you know, cursed be the man that trusteth in a man to save us. Like our people trusted in Obama. Oh, Obama's going to save us.
That joke was crazy. It was like a cult of imbeciles, man.
Hey, look, they even compared Obama to Christ. This is the foolishness of our people.
Right. Some of the grandma's wall, Obama actually placed a white image of Christ.
Yeah, they got a little. They probably prayed to Obama.
They got Obama with a lamb under his arm.
Right.
On the picture.
Then you turn it over, you got a transgender under his arm.
All right, let's continue. Let's get Proverbs 3 and 31.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Hold on. The Most High has given us instructions. Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Meaning, don't choose his politics. don't choose his religion. Because remember, all of the gods of the heathens are idols. So Most High is telling you, don't choose that. Don't follow that. Don't be defiled by their ways. That's why it says choose none of his ways. Because matter of fact, when you look at our people, they have destroyed us. Remember verse 48, Deuteronomy 28:48 said they're going to destroy us. When you look at our people today, we got the black woman masculine and the black males effeminate. Now, when you look at the relationship of Esau to the black man or the black woman, he's not threatened by the effeminate black man. It's the masculine black man that he's threatened by. Those are the ones they shooting down.
That's why they got a problem with us. That's why they call us a hate group and all this other stuff, because they see the real men coming back. You don't find us in the Christian church, because you got sissies on the keyboard and all that type of stuff when you go in there. You ain't gonna find that here. We got real men up in here, and they hate that because they don't want men in the household raising up other men. That's what they don't want, because that's the whole Christianity doctrine is the effeminate doctrine to keep the man in oppression. That's
Right.
the whole purpose of it.
And it revolves around the letters of the Willie Lynch letters. A lot of people don't understand that Christianity goes hand in hand with the letters of Willie Lynch, because you got effeminate men, you got masculine women. That's why you look at the pastor to his left and right, it'd be nothing but what they call them, deaconesses or whatever, up on the stage with them.
Yeah, let's continue. Let's get Colossians 3:8.
3:8 or 2:8?
I mean 2:8. 2:8. Excuse me. 2:8.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
See that? The Most High is saying, beware. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. It's all vain. Like Officer was saying, you think they're here to help you. Matter of fact, since I was born as a young child, and matter of fact, during that time, our community was poorer, but we were more together, and it was way better than it is now.
Right.
Technology has advanced, knowledge has advanced. There's all these benefits in human society, but we have the worst education now.
Right.
How education gonna get worse? It's supposed to get better.
Right, with all the technology, like I said, growing up, even when I grew up over here in Capitol Heights and all that, the neighborhood was actually pretty decent. You go over there now.
That goes in that crafty council. The CIA dumped crack in the neighborhoods.
Right.
They destroyed the Black Panthers and allowed the heroin and all that stuff to come in.
Allegedly dropped crates of guns off in Chicago.
All types of stuff. They extended prison sentences. They brought in the welfare. The whole thing is a plan to destroy the black family. That's what it was. And our people got to recognize that. And the Democrats in particular, they really the ones that's pushing it even harder. You know what I mean? That's the total destruction. Because now that you done lost all your jobs and everything, they want to bring in a cycle of dependency. You just stay here, you get this check, and you just stay in these low states. Don't never rise up. Just stay in these
It's
conditions.
a modern day plantation, man. You just ain't getting whipped across your head. You want to roll that video?
Yeah, finish the script.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
See, the traditions of men. Hey, what's coming up? Halloween coming up. Put you Negroes back to sleep again. Christmas coming up. Put you back to sleep again.
Now they got the NFL before all that.
Oh yeah, that right there is the major thing that's going to put
be comatose.
masses back to sleep. Put them all back to sleep. That's why the brother said in the video, y'all voted them into. Y'all complaining about them, but y'all voted them in. Y'all keep on doing the same thing.
Exactly.
How dumb can we be?
Let the NFL pick Colin Kaepernick back up. All them Negroes out there protesting gonna be sitting right in the stadium.
Let's play the video. Chicago crumbling.
Chicago, at first glance, a picture-perfect city. But what happens with a sneak peek behind the facade and a flip of this postcard?
The gap between the rich and poor in Chicago is extremely visible. Well-off neighborhoods such as this one are just a hop and skip away from places where struggle is dense in the atmosphere. This is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, filled with countless streets like this one where rows and rows of devastated homes hold thousands of people for whom every single day is a struggle.
What doesn't live here is hope.
Most people think that is all of Chicago, and that's gorgeous Chicago, but there is still an 85% of the city that they haven't seen.
Born and raised in Chicago, Sati worked several jobs to keep up. The city falling to its knees is a personal pain for him.
This is a neighborhood that was full of factories and industry, and once industry died, so did this neighborhood.
A pattern seen in much of Illinois. In the last decade, over 200,000 jobs in manufacturing went down the drain. Life is especially tough for Chicago's black community, with 1 in 3 African-American men in their early 20s unemployed. Men like Chris.
Yeah, it's been tough, trying to get a job and stuff. It's been real tough.
Overall, African-American joblessness in Chicago is over 20%, more than twice the white rate.
There's no jobs. You know, I don't care what kind of education you got. Some people just don't have a job. Can't find anything. And that's bad.
Over on the other side of the tracks, there's a lot of drugs. And a lot of people have turned to drugs. A lot of people turn to selling drugs.
Locals explain it's done here to get by. Robbery is also at a peak.
Try to, you know, get something they could pawn to get money off of. Any way they make money, they'll do it.
It's gotta be an easier way.
For many, it's a vicious circle. Having paid for his crimes, 6 months out of jail, Darrell Batts is back where he started, fighting for a job.
The government is falling short. Just that simple. Lip service, that's what that is. I'm saying, they say one thing, and then when it trickles down, it's nothing there.
What is there? Heroin use and record-high binge drinking. Chicago holds the top spot in the U.S. Food pantries are working non-stop as hunger intensifies, but supplies are short.
Oh my goodness, it's almost to the point where it's unexplainable. But it's such a increase of demand of food for hunger in Chicago because of the economy being the way it is.
The number of families living in poverty now stands at an astounding 45%, almost half the population. Many of those going hungry are kids. 1 in 3 children in Chicago are said to live below the poverty line.
I'm quite sure there are homeless children in the building. You're not supposed to, I guess, let staff know if they are or not.
Over the last year, income rates here have dropped by more than 10%, making it harder for entire generations of families to stay afloat.
Some are embarrassed or, you know, too proud to speak about it. It starts from the kids and it goes all the way up to our seniors, you know, and they have the same issues.
From young to old, the hometown of the American president is filled with sorrow that's already too deep to ignore. Anastasia Churkina, RT, Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, and that's not only just Chicago, because even some small towns where our people, like small black towns, like especially down the south, is nothing. Like the industries, like there may be factories or something, they gone, so it's nothing but poverty in the community, which of course drives up crime, robbery, drugs, prostitution. It's all a part of the whole formula. And look, but supposedly we free though.
Right.
But guess what? We can't build up our own community. We can't build our own housing.
And you ask a Negro that, he gonna tell you it's Reagan fault or Bush fault.
Hey, let's continue. Let's get Matthew 15:3. Let's see what Christ say. Let's see what Christ should say. What say we should do? You know, because some of these Christians, we ask them, "What nationality are you?" I'm a Christian.
Right.
Okay, Christian. Let's see what Christ said we should do.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition?
So even Christ is saying, why do you transgress God's commandments for your traditions? Traditionally, our family has been Democrats for the last 5 years.
50 years.
And traditionally, we've been getting broker and broker with bigger and bigger rats every year.
So even Christ is telling you, don't break God's commandments. Christians supposed to be followers of Christ.
Right.
But they're not a follower of this Christ.
Yeah, they follow the Christ.
They follow a Caesar Borgia.
Mm-hmm.
Come as you are. As a matter of fact, we was at camp one time and a lady was talking something. Well, come as you are. Sister, that's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible. Said, what did the scripture say? You have made lies your refuge.
Right. That's what our people famous for that.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes, like, what's in their Bible? Like, what do they actually read? Like, if they actually just had in their Bible what they actually believe, there'll probably be like one page.
It'll just say whatever the white man says.
Yeah, that'll probably be on there too. Whatever Esau say is gospel. That'd be it. They wouldn't have to have nothing on there. And whatever the pastor say, it'll be 2 lines on there.
Yep, exactly. Let's get Lamentations. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get Lamentations 3 and 46. Because even when you look at the Democrats and the Republicans, it's all nations in that.
Right.
When you look at the, we was reading
especially
earlier,
the Democratic Party, though.
Yeah,
that's like
because
the most inclusive party.
Right. Read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 46. All our enemies have opened their mouths against us.
See that? The scriptures the Most High God is letting you know, look, all, not just 1 or 2, all of our enemies have opened up their mouths against us. So that means the Democrats, what? They not for us? The Republicans, they not for us? The Independents, they not for us? What? All our enemies have opened up their mouths against us. All right, then let's get Lamentations 4 and 17.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help.
You see that? It says our eyes have failed for our vain help. But every year, just like the brother said, every year you keep on voting for them. How dumb can we be? Because our people continue to vote for these Democratic Party. Right. They continue to think, oh, they're going to save us one day. And for years they was praying for a black president. They finally got one, and he ain't do nothing for them.
They got worse off.
It got worse than it was before. So now they looking like, oh, please send us a white man that can save us.
It's Trump's fault now.
It's Trump's fault now. We could do a whole show on Obama and what he did to us. I mean, that's literally like a whole nother show, man, because he just carried the Negro
to the hoop.
Yeah, he didn't care nothing about. He didn't do nothing. He didn't even address the Negro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even try to help.
Did he even go back to Chicago once they put him in there?
Went back.
And you know what? And the funny thing is, some of the people in the media, they don't even say that. Say, well, okay, so the Obama didn't do anything for the black man. And it just be crickets.
Right.
You don't hear nothing.
They get mad talking about this.
I said on the street, I asked people, like, what Obama do for you? You know, when they start talking in politics stuff, and it's usually quiet. Like, well, I don't know. You know, they ain't got no answer. Like, because he didn't do nothing, Negro. That's what he did. Nothing.
Finish it up.
As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
See that? We watch for a nation that could not save us. Every year, Negroes go out to vote. Christ is telling you, why do you transgress God's laws for your traditions? But yeah, every year, oh no, let's go vote for this person. Let's go vote. And the scriptures clearly tell you, all your enemies have opened their mouth against you.
And you know what's sad? They go out and confidently know the Democrats, they gonna get 90-something% of the black vote. They don't even campaign. They just say, look, throw my name on the ballot, them niggas gonna vote for me. That's simple. That's all they say.
Exactly. It's a given. They say, we're gonna make things better for everybody. Oh, cast my vote.
Just put the D next to my name. The D stands for dummy. Because you a dummy voting for him.
Yeah, man. Finish that up.
They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
Man, you not free. You're still in your captivity. This is their kingdom. They rule. The borders of wickedness run this kingdom. Read on.
Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven.
So now even the Most High is letting you know, look, your persecutor is swifter than the eagles of heaven. That ain't nothing but the so-called Caucasian symbol. The eagle, America, the eagle, the British. That's their symbol. The Most High is letting you know. Read on.
They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
Oh, you're going to continue to be under persecution. The scriptures clearly told you earlier that only Christ and the Most High God is going to save you. Going to save you. So, Negroes, you're not saved.
You know, I was going to say just 2 verses down, it tells you that it's talking about Edom. When you read down 2 more verses.
Verse 21.
Yeah, it says it right there. Go ahead and just read it real quick. Yeah, just 2 verses down from where we were, because, you know, he made the comment. I know a lot of people say, well, you know, it could be whatever. Let's see.
Right. The Arabs.
Verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
Because, like the scripture said earlier, the liberal is vile. He is a vile person. Because they what? They create lies.
Right. And vile, I mean, you got to be vile to be chopping up babies and selling baby parts, man. I mean, come on, man. And it be so-called black Christians that support that foolishness, man. Our people are literally crazy, bro.
Our people always trying to, you know, protect the white man. But we can't help what the Bible said. This is clear. You know, it's saying what it's saying.
Right.
Hate it or like it or hate it or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, the Negro stay jumping up on the cross for Esau.
Right. It says the daughter, it says he will no more carry thee away into captivity. Letting you know, Negro, you still in captivity now, but he's not going to do it no more when Christ come back. Right. It's over.
And that scripture also, because you know what's a nigger bite on there still with the Arab, what is it? Ishmael is Esau or something. That's already telling you. After Esau, we no more getting carried away captive. So you cut right there too. He's still trying to save his man like that ref the other night.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. The Negro that loves the white woman. The white woman. Brother. Don't think that she's not. It says all your enemies.
Right.
Not just the men. All of them.
Right. We got another video for you. Camden, New Jersey. Let's go ahead and cue that up.
Tonight we begin an ongoing series of reports which will air occasionally over the next year on a single topic. We'll be covering poverty in America, an effort supported by the Ford Foundation. Tonight we begin with the poorest city in the nation and the most dangerous city all in the same place. It's Camden, New Jersey, right across from Philly. Camden is a city of 77,000, a place most people avoid or take pains to drive by, a place I first covered 25 years ago. And as we found upon our return there, the story of Camden cannot be avoided anymore. The skyline of Philadelphia is almost painful to look at from here because it's so close, such a glittering symbol of wealth and prosperity compared to here. They say Camden is the city that hope forgot. They didn't always say that. Walt Whitman was from here, and his words are on City Hall. In a dream, I saw a city invincible. Sadly, most people see something else.
I always think of Camden as the best visual aid in America to see what has gone wrong and what is going wrong.
Well, it's staggering poverty surrounded by staggering wealth.
Correct.
Father Michael Doyle has served this community for more than 40 years. As a newly arrived Irishman, he was there the night Bobby Kennedy came to town, and in a building that has since burned down, he campaigned against poverty.
I don't think that's acceptable in this country, and I don't think it should be tolerated.
Many people blame the poor. We have to get over that and realize that American citizens are dying in inner city America, and they're dying in Camden at levels never seen.
Last year, there was a shooting here on average every 33 hours. Per capita, it's the highest crime rate in the country, the highest murder rate in the country, in the poorest city in the country.
Last summer, we had 3 people shot 2 blocks that way. We had a person shot 1 block that way. Just last week, at this time of the day, we had a person shot right in front of this store.
We spent the day riding along with Camden's chief.
Hey, that right there look like Wild Wild West. The roads look like dirt roads.
And they had a weave on the stick in there like the surrender flag. Like that jump was just crazy. At the beginning of the video, we getting fried.
Bro, hey.
We got to come out of this foolishness.
Hey, and you know how we get out of that? We got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments.
Right.
and the faith of Christ. That's how we get out of it. Hey, let's get Zechariah 11 and 5.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
So, our possessor, because remember, we still in captivity, people. We still in captivity. It says our possessors slay us and hold themselves not guilty. Now, how many people have you seen being shot down or killed that were innocent and they get off? Oh, no guilty plea. Oh, no, you don't go to jail? Oh, okay. You just walk. And see, Esau's so wise, he knows us, he studied us so well that what he does now is he waits a year before he passes a verdict.
Right.
Because before, when MLK and Martin Luther King was shot, it was rioting. They don't want that again. So they wait.
They don't mind the Negroes tearing up their own neighborhood.
They delay it. Yeah, that's true. They tear up their own neighborhood.
Right. You burn down a CVS, your grandma got to get her medicine from there. That mean...
Hey, finish that up, bro.
And hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
You see that? And our own shepherds, which are these black leaders that we were showing
Maxine
earlier,
Waters,
they don't pity us. They like, hell no, I'm living it up.
Right, she living with white folks.
Yeah, I got a
She was
government
in
job.
all white neighborhood eating caviar and everything else, and the Negroes sitting there fighting with roaches and rats.
Eating sardines.
He ain't eating sardines.
Cat food.
Yeah, cat food. We love it. Some ramen noodles or something like that. And y'all know I ain't even lying. Yeah, you could go in any hood right now, you're going to see ramen noodles.
Oh, yeah, that's
Hey,
guaranteed.
but they don't even got that.
But the person over the district though ain't even living in the neighborhood. He eating, he got personal chefs.
Yeah, she on another level, man. How in the world you get a $6 million house?
$4 million.
Was it $4 million house? Yeah, it was a $4 million house.
She
Just
work
doing
for the
politics.
government.
Yeah, working for. Man, and y'all keep voting for this lady. Y'all tripping, man.
Crazy.
Hey, let's get Zephaniah 2 and 1.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
So hold on. Now, the Most High God is telling us, gather ourselves together. So that means us come together, keep God's laws, statutes, commandments, the faith in Christ. And it says, a nation not desired. An example of that is Katrina. All of them Negroes out there, guess what? Ain't nobody come to their aid. They was like, nah.
That's going on.
Nah, we good.
Yeah, that's going. You can say that in Houston too. But Katrina, I mean, it was like a week and some change before they even went down there.
Nah, in Houston, it's different situation there.
Well,
most Esau.
The mayor didn't even evacuate the city in Houston. He didn't even tell the people to get out. They all stuck down there now. So that's showing you that the own shepherds pity them. That's the same thing.
Right, and it says, is that a brother down there running that? Joe.
I bet you that brother ain't underwater. The mayor ain't underwater. I guarantee you that.
Right, and it says gather yourselves together. That means we got to police our own communities and all that. That's what that's talking about, man. Not vote for these clowns, man.
Exactly, and even when it says a nation not desired, remember you Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and American. Guess what? You the last one hired.
Right,
First one fired.
You over there in Canada, you looking across at the New York skyline like this. You know, you seeing all the money, and they looking back, and it ain't nothing but rubble over there.
Let's get this last script, wrap it up. Revelations 18 and 4.
The book of Revelations, chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins.
Hey, so you see that? It says, come out of her, my people, that you be not, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins. Meaning, don't participate, because right now, our people, what do they participate in? Traditions of men, idolatry, Christianity, Muslims, what's the other, all these other denominations and all this other garbage out here?
Christmas, Easter, voting.
Yeah, all of these other, hey, the idolatry in America is rampant. It's all of these different denominations. It's nothing but idolatry. You got Buddhism. You got these simple Negroes falling after
There's only a few of them.
Egyptology and all this garbage. For real, bruh. Where did Egypt? When was Egypt ever going to help you get out of your condition? What's going on in
Egypt now?
Exactly. The Arabs run it. So what happened? You gonna follow after, because the Arabs aren't the original Egyptians.
Right. But you know, our people don't know that. So, and with that, fam, We say shalom.
Shalom. Most High grace bless.
Most High grace bless.
Attention, attention. America is on the brink of destruction. America, according to the Holy Bible, is called Babylon the Great. America has spent billions of dollars to keep something secret from you. But I'm here to let you know, to all you black men and Latino men, you're not blacks and you're not Latinos. You make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, conquered and destroyed between 1492 and 1620. According to Deuteronomy chapter 28, according to the King James Holy Bible 1611. Conquered, destroyed, renamed, reclassified. According to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40 to 45, you are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are your forefathers. Those are your ancestors. Wake up. Christianity has conquered and destroyed our people, brainwashed us, set up and based upon lies. The deliverer is Jesus the Christ, the Black Messiah. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.
Being born again, breaking away, renewed standard beauty. What's your definition? Good hair. The lighter, the brighter, the better? Is it to survive, to keep your job, to keep your man? But it's your wool. Beautiful. 9 billion to keep you fooled. Sodium hydroxide to burn it through, killing your roots.
Black girl magic, curly girl swing your dabbing, clean men, best looking things on the planet. Good God, your hair was fully made by the author of beauty.
said Most Highs.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.